will be one of the greatest. That is a vow, yeah, that is a promise. Always wanted to be famous, just being real, yeah, just being honest. My haters gon' always be nameless, give them no clout.
Hey now, say now, it's your boy 10, and we back again with Talk with 10. Man, I'm excited about this interview. We got Miss Micala McCoy, and I've been doing my research on you, and I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let's dive right into it. Excuse me. Let's dive right into it and tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Micala McCoy. I am a nonprofit owner, a business owner, a Black woman, an advocate for youth, an advocate for our people. I do my best to leave everything better than I found it. People, place, or thing.
Okay. And you started with Wildflower Home for Girls, right?
I did.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So Wildflower Home for Girls is a nonprofit that I have been working on for the past 10 years. The seed of Wildflower started in my last year of college when I was at UNT. I went to a nonprofit symposium in our common area there, and it was just people talking about everything that they do for the community and all of that. So I immediately was drawn to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do in my life.
Come on now.
Prior to that, I was in school to be an epidemiologist. I wanted to work for the CDC, so I was pre-med. I ended up changing my major first year of college because I got pregnant with my son. I didn't want to have to move to Atlanta to work for the CDC. There is no CDC anywhere else at that time. So I started to major in education so that I could basically make sure that I had the knowledge to be the best mother that I could be to my son. Yeah. So my first degree is actually in human development and family studies. The second degree is in secondary education. And then my master's degree is in educational leadership and policy studies.
Was it hard getting all them degrees with being a single mother, or?
So I wasn't single the whole time. I was married. But I wouldn't say it was difficult. School is something that I would consider that just comes to me like water comes out of a cloud. Education is something that I could do in my sleep. It just comes easily to me. And I would go to school forever if it was free. But wanting to make sure that everything that I was learning was something that I could take to my people, that I could apply to my children, and that was actually going to benefit my life. So studying medicine definitely gave me the foundation for how passionate I am about the mortality rate for Black women when they're experiencing childbirth. I've spoken about that. I've been in a documentary about that. Helping young girls to be able to know what they do need when they are pregnant, and what they can do with their lives after that. That's something that I've applied to my life. Learning how to, it wasn't called gentle parenting at that time. My oldest son is about to be 17, but
how many kids you have?
I have 3.
Okay, beautiful.
17, about to be 13 this week, and then 4. But learning those things that I wasn't privy to or I wasn't exposed to growing up the way that I did was important to me in terms of what I was going to college for. So it became less about me and more about what I could give back to my children and what I could give to my community.
I wish I had that switch early on. I felt like it was in me, but I turned on the switch so late. But it's never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. When do you feel like your entrepreneur switch turned on?
Honestly, I have a really close friend that I've been friends with since middle school. His name is Lubbock Smith. He's the vice president of Vista Bank in Dallas. He kind of pushed me into entrepreneurship because I was doing all of those things for free. And he said, well, how much do you charge for that? And I said, nothing. Because to me, it's like you teach a man to fish and they can eat forever. I was just teaching everybody to fish because I didn't have anybody to teach me how to fish. And if people were charging me for the knowledge that I have now, I would never have been able to gain it. Yeah. And so even though I was seeking those things out, God was putting people in place to show me things or show me different ways of looking at things or teach me, not to be so limited on myself. So that switch that you had later on, it might be that you were not surrounded by people who kept raising your ceiling. Yeah. I was blessed to have people around me that would say things to me like, you are bigger than this. You should, have you considered this? I mean, I did consider it. I do it, but I didn't think I could make money from it because I didn't want to mishandle the purpose that God had placed on my life by making it about money. So being an entrepreneur was never my goal. It's always been just to make the world a better place.
And I feel like doing research on your background, and you said you purchased a home at a very young age.
I did.
And I feel like that's what this podcast is about. Everybody is an entrepreneur without even knowing it, because you purchased that home before that happened. Or
I purchased it after. So I bought my first house for my 25th birthday. My son was 5 at that time, and he said he wanted a backyard. So I went to get him a backyard.
is that solely on, or did you have a business mindset?
I didn't have
You
a business
didn't?
mindset. It was just...
It just came?
It was, how much does it cost to put down to get a house? I found a realtor. I had previously worked for a mortgage company while I was in college. So I went back to that same mortgage company and I'm like, hey, I think I want to buy a house. What does my credit need to be? What do I need to do to get to that credit score? How much money do I need to have? But it was all going back to me wanting to be the best mother that I could be. I didn't want to tell my son, no, he couldn't have a backyard.
But that started the multiple houses, because
It did.
You own 3 houses now, correct?
I have owned 3 houses. So
Oh.
I bought one, sold one, bought another one, and now I'm on track to buy another one.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is I never even wanted to own a house. That's never been a goal of mine. It just makes sense.
The numbers make sense.
The numbers make sense, because why do you want to pay more for rent than you would be for a mortgage?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, facts. So do you feel like you know the real estate game, or you just feel like, do you consult in real estate?
I do. I feel like I know enough of the correct people so that if someone needs that information from me, I could put it all together for them for it to make sense. I don't know the mortgage market as much as I would like to. I do know how to follow the interest rates. I do know how to follow the percentages. I know the difference between an FHA loan versus a conventional loan. I know what you need to do as a person in order to buy a house.
Okay.
And that's something that nobody was able to tell me when I was trying to buy a house at 24.
Okay, so back to the nonprofit Wildflower Home for Girls. It's a consulting business that teaches young girls how to maneuver and create different avenues in life.
So they're 2 separate entities. They just work in conjunction with each other. So Wildflower Home for Girls is what has been around for 10 years. Flower Bomb Consulting just came about last year.
Okay.
Flower Bomb works in conjunction with Wildflower Home for Girls because Flower Bomb does all of the business aspects. So purchasing any real estate, making all of the numbers work. Wildflower only offers the services to the girls because that is free of charge. So in terms of how do those services work together, Wildflower provides services and programs to young girls to help them to develop life skills. One of those things might be entrepreneurship. So we might have a consultant or anybody in any avenue of business who is able to teach that to the girls who are wanting that service for free.
And this is why this interview, I was so happy to do it, because that's basically what my nonprofit is I lift. But it seemed like you will be the friend to push me. Not trying to be your friend, but need people that's doing the same thing as me, or in the same room that I want to be in. That's how I read it, because I lift is basically getting young kids internships in the inner city school district. However, you need funding, you need resources to do
connections,
it.
networking.
Yeah, you need connections, and you need the credibility to do it too. And that's one thing that I admire about you, that you're doing that to help where you come from. Because we both come from Dallas, and we both thriving to do better in our community. Can you tell us about some of the events that you got coming up with Wildflower?
So we just did the Sisterhood Sewing Circle at the Dallas Public Library downtown on September the 20th. And that was so awesome, because it used to be way back when women would sit around in a circle and they're sewing the patches on their husband's clothes, and they get to talk, they get to have the community, and they get to learn that skill, a skill that used to be a requirement. there aren't very many women now who just recreationally sew.
Yeah.
So yes, we had Liberation
Lost
Loops
art.
there, and Liberation Loops by my sister Jennifer. She taught all of us how to crochet. I didn't know how to crochet. I know how to sew. I know how to make things, but I don't know how to crochet. And crochet is literally turning nothing into everything. You can make everything with crocheting. So in doing that, we also had little cards that would prompt conversations. Like, what is something that you are afraid of doing that you didn't know that, was an option for you? We had young girls there. Our next event is October 18th. It is the Petals and Projections. Denver is a young lady. I don't know where. I think Denver's from California. She's a teenager. She already made a movie, and it's about the disappearing Black girls. So she made a short film. She was in a camp called Black Girls Film Camp. Her and her friend, and they both have the movies that they made during that camp. They're going to show them to the girls who are signing up for Wildflower, so that they can talk them through how to tell their stories or what it means to tell a story. Another lost art that used to just be women sitting around on a Sunday afternoon on a porch talking. Now it's all screens. Okay. It's all inboxing. It's all so many limits, so many boxes, so many ceilings. So I really want to break down those barriers so we can kind of get back to what makes human beings human beings.
If you could share some advice to a young lady that wanted to start a nonprofit about women abuse, what would you tell her first step should be?
The power is going to come from you. It's going to come from how invested you are in your mission. It's not going to come from, something that my daughter says that it's from long time ago. It's from Rome, but it's, if you build it, they will come. Don't worry about if the people are going to be there. Don't worry about if people are going to take you serious, if they're going to think that you're credible, because you are going to continue to show up for yourself, and you're showing up and standing in the gap for people who are not able to do it for themselves, especially if it's about abuse, because that's another story.
Facts. That's a deep story. And I tell them just do the work. So we basically saying the same thing. Just do the work. Of course, do your paperwork and have that. But it's only 2-3 pages, and have your officers together. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people harp on not finding their officers. Do you got any advice about that?
For me personally, I had so many people in my life. I really am blessed. I have so many people in my life who believe in me and who believe in anything that I could. They know that because I have the credibility, that anything that comes out of my mouth, you can build a house on it. It's solid. It's no cracks. If Miccala said that this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be. It might not be like that today, but if she said it's in 5 years, they know that in 5 years it's going to manifest. So when I was looking for the officers for my nonprofit organization, I reached out to the people closest to me whose morals aligned with the values and the mission that I was seeking.
And them the words I be trying to use. But mine's come out so hood. Mine's sound a little bit like this. Go get your mama, your daddy. Go get somebody. You can change it later on down the line.
Right.
You basically said the same thing I said, a little bit more educated. And that's what I be looking for.
Just get the people around you
who believe in you. Get the people around you that believe in you. Eventually, you're going to be in the room with people that align with you.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with having your mother on the board.
Right.
Because 9 out of 10, y'all believe on the same thing.
And
now,
if she doesn't even understand it, she believe in you.
Facts. And you can move her down once you find the people as you doing the work to align with what's going on with your vision. Mm-hmm. And I see you big on mission statements.
I am.
Can you tell us your mission statement and a little bit about it?
So the reason why I'm big on mission statements is because of something that Erykah Badu said a long time ago.
Gotta love her vibe.
Our birthday's only a few days apart.
Okay.
Just saying.
I see.
But she said there's a spell in spelling.
Okay.
So anything that you write down, it can be yours. It becomes fact. So you should be choosy on how you word things. Like you said, even when you talk, because you're putting so much power and energy into those words. So when I was choosing the mission for Wildflower, I wanted to encompass something that people could understand and that was, palatable. It wasn't like, what are you talking about? What they call word salad. Like you just talking to talk. It doesn't even mean anything. But for us, it's empowering young women and their families. That's specific for me because you cannot fix a child without figuring out what broke them.
Okay.
So that's why our mission statement includes the women and their families. In terms of how we push that mission statement out, we want to make sure that everybody knows that we're here to help. It's not necessarily about the money or the notoriety. It's genuinely, I am trying to be for these girls what I wish somebody was for me.
And the mission statement usually is the heart and soul. The mission statement tells you who your target audience is. Mm-hmm. And it really helps you, once you grasp it and know what's in your heart, it helps you lead the mission. It helps you lead the mission, which is the mission statement. But I love that. What advice would you give? What advice would you give someone that's trying to build a learning center and don't know where to start?
So the learning center that we're working on is the Wildflower Home for Girls Early Learning Center. It's specifically, because our girls are 13 to 21, it's specifically for young women who are in high school or who are in college who have children. And that is a barrier for them from achieving either. So I don't think I'm going to be able to graduate high school because I don't have anybody to stay home with my baby. I'm in my last year of college, but I don't think I'm going to be able to finish because I don't have anyone to stay home with my baby. So the learning center that we're building, that is our mission statement for that. We're still in the funding stages of that. I'm looking to convert a duplex actually, so that I can have one side of the duplex that is accessible for a single mother to be able to live there rent free for 6 to 12 months while she gets back on her feet, whether that be she is running from domestic violence situation or, she's a young girl. And this is, my mother had 3 children before she was 20. And if she had a space where she didn't have to work as hard, I believe the quality of our lives would have been different. Okay. So having the space like that, and then the other side of it being a daycare center, it might even be that young woman that lives in that other side of the house, she works at the daycare center, and that is how she is paying her way to be there. She's still obtaining a wage. She's still obtaining all of the things that she needs. But if you don't know anything about early childhood education and you want to open a learning center, start there.
Okay.
I always start with the foundation so that you can know who you want to serve, what it is that you're going to need, and then understanding the Texas license regulations, because daycare centers are very heavily regulated, rightfully so. Yeah.
I had a couple of people on my podcast that doing pretty good in the learning center department. Shout out to Justin Williams. He was just on here last month. Moving on, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So all 3 of your business, because you also got a consulting business, right?
Yes.
So the consulting, do you only consulting learning centers or it's broad?
It's broad.
Can you tell us about that?
Flower Bomb Consulting, I started it, like I said, primarily because somebody told me I needed to start charging for the information that I'm giving to people. But Flower Bomb Consulting is essentially for small businesses and nonprofits who are starting up or who would like to modify how they're doing things in order for it to be more efficient. Okay. For example, we had a truck driver who has his own trucking company, and he was grossing more than $1 million a year, but his overhead was so high that he wasn't able to see most of that money. Yeah. So I had to look at his books. We looked through what it is that he could change. It might be something as simple as, let's change where you're getting your gas from, and let's see how that impacts. Let's change the way you're running your truck routes, because it looks like you're doing too many wraparounds. Let's change the contracts that you're taking on so that the person who is signing the contract is responsible for fixing your truck if something happens on the road, versus you having to spend that money and that's $30,000 on a motor part or something like that. Or you had to take the truck off the road because one of the drivers got sick. Let's put that into the employee contract so that we can make sure that we are covered on all of those bases. So if you've ever looked at one of those little kids who takes things apart and then puts it back together to make it run faster, that's me when it comes to small businesses and nonprofit organizations. Because you know what you're doing, you just don't know the best way to do it. So then you call me.
Okay. How do they find you? How they reach out?
So the website is wildflowerhfg.org. The tab for Flower Bomb is on that same website. I did it that way, even though they're 2 separate entities, so that most of the traffic is going to be for Wildflower. because that's my main goal.
That's your baby?
That's my baby. I want to make
Okay.
sure that you're learning more about the organization, even if you're coming to find me for something else.
You got a donation link to it?
Yes.
To that too.
Also on the website for
Okay.
the Learning Center.
Okay, for the Learning Center. And the goal is?
The goal is $250,000.
Okay. We're going to try to get that. Go to the Learning Center, donate. I'm going to donate. Hold myself to that. Give me to by Friday, though. I'm going to send it by
For
Friday.
your checking, your savings, and your savings, and your checking.
Man, I got to get it. With all that going about, how do you live your life or find room for you?
That's a difficult question. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I try my best because I'm such a type A personality. Everything is very meticulous and scheduled in my brain. It's like a list of filing folders. But I do my best to make sure that I am full, because I learned a long time ago you can't pour from an empty cup. So I do set boundaries that I wasn't setting 3 to 4 years ago, where it's like I don't have the capacity to expand myself further than what I am right now. Because I used to consider myself as like a never-ending rubber band. Like, oh, this person needs me. Oh, this person needs. And then when I got that person, I also got their kid, and that kid needs me, and that kid has a friend at school, and they need me, but I also need me. So I try to make sure that I have space. I love silence. So I read a lot. I spend a lot of time reading. I make sure that I keep my self-care together, because that's what makes me feel more myself, and I get sleep.
You had a goal this year of 250. You close?
Not 250 bucks.
Okay.
It was
I made that
150.
up? Oh,
it was 150. Because
okay.
last year was 100. I got to 99, so I moved it up to 150. Yeah, I'm close.
What number
I am
you on?
close. 87.
87?
Yeah.
You got 4 more months?
Yeah. Well, I usually do 2 to 3 a week. So
Okay. Is this ebook just listening too?
listening it too, but most of it is me sitting and reading, because I like to sit in the silence. So at the end of my day, that's how I wind down.
Okay. What's some of your habits that you do that you think differentiates you from everybody else?
I'm a particular character, so I think I'm pretty different than everybody else in all aspects. Like, no shade. It's just there's a lot of everybody acting the same. I'm very, very strange compared to other people. I start my day with silence, and I start my day with prayer, but I don't talk or allow anybody to talk to me for probably the first 30, 40 minutes of my day. Since I have children, that requires me to wake up way earlier than them. So
what time you start your day?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
Which is not early for some people. It's early for me.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I start my day early. I don't drink anything caffeinated, carbonated, or alcoholic. I try to drink at least 1.5 gallons of water a day, because I found out that there's a direct correlation between the amount of water you drink and how fast your brain moves.
Uh-huh.
I found that out years ago, and then I just became a serial water drinker after that.
My friend tried to get me to drink a lot of water, but
You should. You would be surprised at how like your brain fog disappears.
yeah.
My brain is so rapid fire that it freaks people. It doesn't freak my people out, because they've known me for forever. But people who just meet me, people always have to say, "Oh, you know, Kayla, she's like this or she's like that." I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to freak anybody out. That's just how I think. But I stay hydrated. I try to get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes that's difficult because my daughter is on the spectrum. So sometimes she'll get up during the middle of the night, because people on the spectrum just don't sleep a lot. But I try my best to make sure if I can't do that, then I work in a nap like on the weekend, because that's my time just to myself. When I open my eyes, everybody needs me.
Okay. So it's really been a joy to talk to you these past 20 or 30 minutes. And it really warmed my heart to see somebody else giving back to the community. You been doing a turkey drive in November. Can you tell us more about that? Yeah.
So we're not doing the turkey drive specifically for us. We're going to be contributing to a turkey drive. One of my new clients, I don't want to say too much of it. He plays professional sports, and he does that every year. And now that he knows about Wildflower, we're going to be a part of that.
Okay.
Of that part. So the families who are needing services from us for other programs could also benefit from getting a turkey.
Okay.
And then also we'll have people on the ground who are going to be handing them out.
Come on now. Do y'all do stuff for Christmas?
We do. So last year we were able, Walmart, shout out to Walmart. They donated money to us. I was able to go to Walmart, pick up the gifts for the girls. I handpicked them all. I kind of got an array of things for girls ages. At that time, it was 13 to 18. I realized after COVID that I needed to move it up to 21 because there was a psychological deficit that was missed during quarantine where people were just not prepared to live on their own. So a lot of them ended up still being children by the time they were 20. So being able to get those stuff for high school, middle school, and college age girls. Most of the stuff was, bath and body stuff. We don't really have to buy toys for girls that are this age. But I partnered with communities and schools for the Dallas region, dropped the gifts off there after I wrapped them, and they were able to hand them out at the schools that they are in the campuses.
That's dope. That's dope. A lot of people need your consulting firm because I've been working with a couple of nonprofits, including myself, that don't take the resources that's out there for us serious. I partner with a nonprofit in Houston called Bless a Belly. We've been using our own money. Don't get me wrong, we got $250 grants from Walmart and stuff, but we're not fully using the capacity that's out there for us.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, and it takes the right people you got to know the right people
and how to use the right words.
And how to use the right words and change your vocabulary and change your mindset. And we've been feeding 5 to 10 families out of our own pocket.
Right.
Then it's like the young lady that want to start the nonprofit for abused women. So it's a lot of women and men nonprofits and things that you cater to. How do you price your consulting, or how do you not feel like you're underpricing your firm?
So for me personally, because I know I have the know-how, I have the education, and I have the vernacular to be able to tap into things that people don't know that they can tap into. Like I said, you have all of the pieces. You just don't have the big picture of the puzzle. That's how I price myself. If I were not confident in what I'm able to give someone, I would not price my prices to weigh with what I do. I know that you can tell me your idea and you could tell me 1 or 2 things that you want to accomplish, and I could turn it into something beautiful and hand it back to you. And then after you get that beautiful thing, if you mishandle it, you can bring it back to me and I can fix it again for you. That's how I set my prices. If I was just a charlatan who was out here just, talking to be talking, and like, I'm just here to sell you a bill of goods, then I probably wouldn't be as confident with my pricing. I also pick my pricing based off of our current market and what it is in the DFW. Okay. Dallas-Fort Worth is $1 billion city, actually. Dallas is compared to Miami, Los Angeles, and New York City. We are not Lufkin, Texas. So the grants that are available here for our zip codes, the TIF contracts with the city of Dallas, just the amounts of things that are tappable and obtainable in Dallas are not kin to small town. So I wouldn't charge small town prices. Okay. But I also have what it takes to back up those prices. So if you are a person who's looking to be a small business owner, for example, the one thing that I used for an example before, if you're selling chicken sandwiches. If you're selling chicken sandwiches out of the back of your Grand Caprice, they might be delicious chicken sandwiches, but they're coming out the back of your Caprice. You can charge $5. The person who is at Chick-fil-A who has packaging, they have a brand, they have a motto, they have a chicken, they have air conditioning, they have an ambiance, they're going to charge you $15. Their chicken sandwich might not taste as good as yours, but the presentation, the words you use, and how you're painting the picture of why they need your chicken sandwich is how you're going to pick your price. Okay.
Do you start off with, how do you find the confidence to start off at that price though?
I wouldn't recommend someone who wants to be a consultant jumping into a pool where they feel they can compete with people who've been doing it for a long time. Okay. If you have never written a business plan and you're charging someone to write one, I don't think you should charge the same price as someone who's written 500 of them. So the more experience you get, the more you should raise your price until you get to what you want to be comparable at. The 3 women that I aspire to model my life after are Issa Rae, Michelle Obama, and Oprah. So I don't look at what somebody else might be looking at as like, oh my gosh, I want to be Cardi B. I want to be Beyonce, because that's not what I want. So in terms of how I'm structuring, how I carry myself, the types of things that I wear, the places that I am, how obtainable I am to other people, it's kin to those women. Same thing would be, do you want to be Chick-fil-A or do you want to be Big Daddy's? Do you want to be Church's or do you want to be Rudy's? So once you put your mindset as to where you want to be, my advice is always work backwards from that. If you want to be Walmart, you're not going to be the same as if you want to be random mom and pop shop. You don't want to be Piggly Wiggly? Don't act like a Piggly Wiggly. Act like a Walmart.
Facts. Your habits, your movements, your dedication, your desires. I'll let people. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't limit yourself.
Don't limit yourself.
Don't limit yourself. A lot of what I was doing as a think big, exactly. I've always been a big thinker. I've always been a person who thought outside the box. I have been performing on stages since I was 5 years old. That was my first oratorical contest. And I was chosen to be in an oratorical contest because I was a chatterbox child. Being a chatterbox child is not always good when you're around people who are not used to people talking and people who are just not as invested in learning new things as you are. But if I had listened to, I don't read social cues well. So when people aren't listening to me or not interested in what I'm saying, I keep talking anyway. Because if you don't say you don't care about what I'm saying, I'm going to assume you're invested in a conversation. I'm going to keep telling you about this rock that I found because clearly you must be interested or you would have said you're not. But I would always temper myself up until I would say a couple years ago so that the people around me didn't feel smaller. So now that I have removed that ceiling for myself and I am free to be the biggest and brightest version of myself, I would say the last 12 months of my life have been transformative because I changed my mindset. So if I knew that at 16, I would be way further than I would already be Oprah.
Come on now. Hey, so we finna get out of here. Anything before we get out of here? Give me the next 5 years of your life in a perfect world.
In a perfect world, the next 5 years of my life will involve me touching, instead of hundreds of people, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions. My voice will be heard in multiple countries. My name will be recognizable. I will be the beacon that some young girl uses as to why they're not going to stop 5 years from now. By the time I'm 40, I seek to be, if not a household name, at least a regional name.
Household name, Micala McCoy. ML.
Easy to remember.
I see it. And I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for having such insightful questions.
It was a blessing. I appreciate you. Thank you for giving me grace and patience today.
Do my best.
Let's have a wonderful day. It's Talk with 10. We out. Hey, now, a lot of people ask me, what is Talk with 10, man? Let's get to it. Talk with 10 is an entrepreneur podcast. It deals with real people, though, real life stories. It's not just one genre of careers we're going to talk about. We really want to tap into the mind, body, and soul of the passion of the careers. Because I feel like you can be rich with money, but I feel like the real riches come from peace and happiness. And you don't really find your peace and happiness till you can't take control of your life. So Talk with 10 is about taking control of your life, finding that inner child of you in you will bring you peace. So I'm going to have a lot of dope entrepreneurs on here. And when I say entrepreneurs, your life is entrepreneurship set up because you got to take care of your day-to-day living expenses. You got to take care of your mind. You got to take care of your body. So with them things, you got to structure your life. You have to structure your life for yourself and for your family. Then take care of your community after you take care of your family. So I'm going to have real people, real stories, and real happiness. It's a positive podcast. It's Talk with 10. I'm your boy 10. Y'all go like, share, subscribe, follow me on YouTube. Yeah, let's get it.